expansion was discussed both at a committee level and at the board, and ultimately the league office was tasked by our board with doing an in-depth.
Everyone, welcome back. Today we're covering a major story that has taken professional basketball by surprise. Let's get right into it. The biggest change in the sport right now centers around one name everyone has been talking about for months: Caitlin Clark. While fans focused on her stats and performances, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver was reportedly working on a much bigger plan behind the scenes. His latest decision regarding Clark has sent shockwaves through WNBA front offices. For years, the league followed a slow and steady approach to growth, but Silver now appears to see the WNBA as a key part of the NBA's future instead of just a secondary project. This shift goes far beyond marketing or jersey sales and signals a major change in how the league is managed. Not everyone is happy with the new direction, especially longtime veterans who helped build the league, but from a business perspective, the numbers are hard to ignore. Silver reportedly believes the Caitlin Clark phenomenon is far more than a short-term trend and sees it as a billion-dollar opportunity worth protecting. His move was not just a suggestion, but a major change that could influence marketing, officiating, and even team travel. With this new approach, the league is entering a different era, and everyone will have to adjust. When Clark made her professional debut, people expected her to face a learning curve, but few expected the level of hostility and attention that seemed to follow her every move. What started as typical "welcome to the league" moments soon looked less like tough competition and more like deliberate physical play. From hard hits near midcourt to fouls that looked more like football tackles, the contact became a major talking point. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. More than 87% of our viewers still haven't subscribed, and it only takes a second while making a huge difference for us. Thanks so much if you've already subscribed. Your support means a lot. Now, back to the story. As the season continued, league officials reportedly realized they had to make a decision that could shape the future of the sport for the next decade. Reports claim Adam Silver believed the old "let them play" approach was hurting the league's business after watching its biggest star repeatedly take hard hits. The reported decision was seen as a warning to veteran players who tried to intimidate the rookie sensation. This sparked debate across locker rooms, with many believing the rules were being adjusted to protect one player. Still, the television ratings provided a strong business reason for the move, as Caitlin Clark's games reportedly attracted around 10 times more viewers than many regular WNBA matchups. The league also could not risk seeing its biggest attraction sidelined by an injury caused by overly physical play. As a result, the style of the game has reportedly shifted, becoming faster, higher scoring, and more focused on perimeter offense. That style closely matches the type of basketball Adam Silver has promoted in the NBA for years. The debate grew even stronger during the national team selection process, a decision many fans still have not fully accepted. At first, it appeared to be a normal basketball decision based on player rankings and experience. However, some industry insiders have suggested there may have been a more strategic reason behind leaving Caitlin Clark off the roster. According to those reports, league leaders, with influence from NBA decision-makers, preferred that she stay in the United States instead of competing internationally. The theory was that keeping her at home allowed the league to better manage her workload, reduce the risk of fatigue, and maintain full focus on the WNBA season, where she remained its biggest attraction during the most valuable part of the schedule. According to this view, it was a calculated decision that placed the league's financial future ahead of building an individual player's global legacy. The move surprised many because it suggested that league leaders were focused on maximizing Caitlin Clark's impact during the WNBA season rather than allowing her career to develop naturally on the international stage. The goal, according to these reports, was to make the most of every moment as the league prepared to benefit from its new multi-billion-dollar television agreement. Although many fans were disappointed at first, the business results were hard to ignore, as Clark returned to the court refreshed and continued drawing record-breaking television audiences. That new $2.2 billion media deal also changed the balance of power between the NBA and WNBA. For years, the WNBA was viewed as a league that relied on financial support, but when Clark's popularity exploded, reports claimed Adam Silver used the league's growing viewership as a major selling point in negotiations with Disney, NBC, and Amazon. Critics argued that this shift reduced the WNBA's own leadership to a smaller role, while Silver positioned the league as an essential part of the NBA's long-term global media strategy. The new direction also brought higher production quality, more nationally televised games, and a clear move away from the WNBA's old image as a niche league. While the increased investment is expected to benefit players through greater exposure and future earnings, it also means the NBA's corporate leadership is paying much closer attention to everything happening in the league. Today, technical fouls, controversial social media posts, and locker room disputes can quickly become major headlines, similar to stories involving stars like LeBron James or Stephen Curry. The WNBA is now viewed as a major business asset, and Adam Silver has made it clear that teams and players must adapt to a higher professional standard. One of the biggest changes in this new era was the league-wide move to charter flights. For years, WNBA players dealt with commercial travel, including crowded flights, long security lines, and delays, with cost always given as the main reason. However, as security concerns surrounding Caitlin Clark's growing crowds and popularity received more attention, Silver and league leaders reportedly decided it was time to make charter travel the new standard. League officials reportedly pushed teams to upgrade their operations almost overnight by approving tens of millions of dollars for private charter travel. While this was a major win for player safety, health, and comfort, it also created financial pressure for smaller market teams that were not prepared for such a significant increase in costs. The decision was about more than convenience. It was a statement that the WNBA should no longer be viewed as a second-tier league. The message was clear. If the league wants to be seen as a leading global sports brand, it must operate like one, even if that requires major investments before the financial returns fully arrive. This aggressive investment strategy reflects Adam Silver's long-term approach, but it also marks a major shift in women's basketball. At the same time, the league is moving forward with an ambitious expansion plan instead of simply maintaining its current size. With new franchises in cities such as Portland, Toronto, and Golden State, some observers have raised concerns that the rapid growth could spread talent too thin. Existing teams also face the reality of expansion drafts, where they may lose valuable players, potentially changing the league's competitive balance for years to come. The league's rapid expansion is closely tied to the effort to make the most of Caitlin Clark's popularity while interest remains at its highest. More teams create more games, more markets, more merchandise, and more opportunities to generate revenue. Many people around the league were surprised by how quickly the long-standing strategy of slow, steady growth appeared to change once Clark's jersey became one of the best-selling items in professional basketball. As the business grows faster, some current players are wondering what the next collective bargaining agreement will look like and whether the players' union can keep pace with these changes. At the same time, the league's approach to rivalries has also shifted. While the WNBA traditionally promoted unity and teamwork, critics argue that league leadership now recognizes that high-profile competition attracts attention. As a result, matchups and storylines involving Caitlin Clark and other stars such as Angel Reese have received greater promotional focus, with the league highlighting those rivalries to boost social media engagement, television audiences, and ticket sales. The WNBA's marketing strategy has become much more similar to the NBA's, creating mixed reactions within the league. Some players feel they are being cast as villains to help build the story around the league's newest star, but the increased attention and fan engagement are difficult to ignore. According to this perspective, Adam Silver's focus on promoting rivalries and competition has produced levels of interest the league had never experienced just a few years ago. As the latest decisions continue to shape the league, the commissioner's message appears clear. The WNBA is no longer being treated as a development project, but as a major professional sports business. Traditional ideas about slowly earning recognition are being replaced by a stronger focus on market value and commercial growth. Supporters of this approach believe Silver's involvement has accelerated the league's development by nearly a decade in just one season, and although the transition has brought challenges, they argue the long-term opportunities could be significant. At this stage, Many believe that every major decision involving Caitlin Clark represents a bigger decision about the future of the WNBA itself. Whether fans support the league's new direction or prefer the way things were before, there is a growing sense that these choices are shaping what the league could become for years to come. Supporters of the strategy argue that Adam Silver's focus on protecting and promoting the league's biggest stars helped attract more attention than ever before, and in professional sports, audience interest is often the most important measure of success. If this momentum continues, future players may see the WNBA as a highly rewarding professional career rather than a difficult path with limited opportunities. At the same time, the tension between established veterans and the league's rising stars is expected to continue as the stakes grow even higher. With Silver's vision now in motion, everyone involved in basketball will have to adapt to the league's changing direction. The biggest question is whether the WNBA can continue expanding while preserving its identity. One thing is clear: compared with just a year ago, the league has entered a new era defined by faster growth, bigger storylines, greater business opportunities, and increasing global attention. Many people are now wondering how far the commissioner is willing to go to keep the momentum around Caitlin Clark going, as the recent decisions may only be the beginning of a much larger transformation that could influence women's basketball around the world. One of the biggest changes has reportedly been in officiating, creating frustration among players who spent years competing in a physical style of basketball. Some veterans feel the standards have changed almost overnight, with closer protection given to the league's newest star. According to this view, Adam Silver's message was clear: protect the league's biggest attraction. Supporters argue that the goal was not only about Clark, but also about making the game more appealing to casual fans, who are more likely to enjoy fast-paced play, quick transitions, and long-range shooting than constant physical battles. By calling games more tightly, the league has moved toward a more offense-focused style similar to the NBA. However, many coaches who built their teams around physical defense believe the change forced them to abandon strategies they had developed over many years, and they were surprised by how quickly the new standards were put into effect. As the league embraced a faster, more open style of play, officials who adapted to that approach reportedly received more high-profile assignments, while those who did not faced greater scrutiny. This created concern among some players, who felt they had to be extra careful whenever they defended Caitlin Clark because even routine contact could draw attention. Critics argued that the league was giving special protection to its newest star, while supporters viewed the changes as a necessary step in the league's evolution. Their belief was that a player capable of making deep three-pointers and creating exciting highlights should have the freedom to showcase those skills instead of being slowed by constant physical play. From a business standpoint, spectacular moments that spread across social media help attract more fans and increase the league's value. At the same time, many defensive specialists feel the game is moving away from the style they built their careers on, leaving them concerned that their strengths are becoming less important in this new era. According to reports about leaked internal discussions, some people believe the NBA's influence has placed entertainment value ahead of the WNBA's traditional emphasis on physical, hard-earned basketball. Critics see this as a major change from the league's original identity, arguing that the focus has shifted toward building the game around its biggest stars. On the other hand, many new fans are less concerned with the past and are more interested in exciting games, memorable moments, and a great overall experience. Supporters say Adam Silver's goal is to make the league more entertaining and appealing to a wider audience. At the same time, some of the league's top defenders reportedly feel increased pressure when guarding Caitlin Clark, believing that a hard foul could lead not only to free throws but also to days of negative media attention. Critics argue that this creates an unofficial form of pressure that influences how the game is played without changing the rulebook itself. They believe the league is encouraging greater protection for its biggest stars, similar to how the NBA has treated elite players over the years. As a result, many teams are rethinking their defensive strategies, with some deciding that winning high-scoring games may now be more effective than relying on the physical style that once defined the league. Reports about alleged internal discussions have fueled claims that the NBA's growing influence is shifting the WNBA toward a more entertainment-driven style instead of the tough, physical basketball that many longtime fans associate with the league. Critics believe this marks a significant change in the league's identity, with more attention being placed on promoting its biggest stars. Meanwhile, newer fans are focused less on tradition and more on exciting games, highlight plays, and an entertaining experience. Supporters argue that Adam Silver's vision is to attract a larger audience by making the product faster and more exciting. At the same time, some defenders reportedly feel added pressure when facing Caitlin Clark, worrying that any hard foul could bring not only penalties on the court but also intense criticism from the media and fans. Critics say this creates an unofficial expectation that changes how players defend without any formal rule changes. They believe the league is placing greater emphasis on protecting its biggest stars, much like the NBA has done for years. Because of this, many teams are adjusting their game plans, with more coaches favoring fast-paced, high-scoring basketball over the physical defensive style that once defined the league. Despite the criticism, Adam Silver has not backed away from his approach. Supporters believe he is focused on the league's long-term growth rather than the immediate frustration of players who preferred the old system. From this perspective, professional sports are both a business and a competition, and the WNBA is now operating more like a major professional league than ever before. Many believe the combination of Caitlin Clark's arrival and Silver's long-term vision has helped push the league into a new era, bringing faster play, greater attention, and bigger opportunities. Even though the path has been filled with controversial decisions, the potential rewards are significant. Looking ahead, new questions continue to emerge. When the next generational talent enters the league, will that player receive the same level of attention, investment, and protection, or was this approach unique to Clark? As the league continues to evolve, its competitors and fans will be watching closely. One thing is clear: the WNBA is no longer simply trying to keep pace with other professional leagues. It is setting new standards for its own future, and the decisions being made today could shape the game for many years to come.